Hola, hello. Feliz viernes if you are watching this live. Happy Friday si estás conmigo en vivo. I am on my last edition of videos for this series, just explaining what my different levels of classes are like. So again, I will be talking primarily to my Spanish students in English for the first part of this video and to my English students in Spanish for the second part of this video. But I am focusing on my intermediate advanced classes today. So open to any questions you have about them. Feel free to write me a comment live or later. I will be sure to answer it, and let me know what you think. Absolutely, of course. So let me just give that little heads up for my Spanish speakers. Así que voy a hablar primero en inglés sobre mis clases avanzadas, intermedias avanzadas. Hoy es la última edición, episodio de mis videos para explicar, para dar más información sobre mis clases. Y voy a hablar a mis estudiantes de inglés en español en la segunda parte de este video. Entonces, espera y voy a hablar en español sobre las clases y cómo están estructuradas y y por qué son mis favoritas para enseñar. Okay, thanks so much for hanging there with me for the long introduction. My intermediate advanced classes, the high level. How do you know when you're ready for them? What are they like? These classes have some similarities and have some differences to my other levels of beginning intermediate Spanish classes and intermediate classes. And I do want to issue a quick correction here too. It was brought to my attention that I may not have been super clear. I could clarify a little bit more about my classes when I say that I have 2 years of original content for all levels of my classes. What that means is that none of my classes repeat. Every single class is new. Some of the vocabulary and grammar will of course repeat because we're focused on our high frequency vocabulary at those lower levels, but none of the classes repeat. Within a semester, when we do 2 8-week sessions, and this is true for my advanced classes also, they are different 8-week sessions. They move from the same level to the same level, but they are all new classes because it's super disengaging and demotivating to ever have to repeat a class. If it wasn't a class that you really liked or were really interested, part of what keeps you engaged as a language learner is having new things. This is not about rote memorization. That's not fun. And it's not about studying. It's about understanding. It's about being presented with a new language in a way that you understand so that it's always interesting, always fresh, and you always want to stay engaged and communicate about what you're hearing and respond to what you're hearing. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say original content. I mean, no classes repeat for 2 years, and never is that more true than with my advanced classes. Why do I keep getting weird color flashes? Sorry, my skin tone keeps changing from like tan to red, and I'm not exactly sure why. So never is that more true than with my advanced classes. With my advanced classes, we could go 5 years before things repeat because my advanced classes are also structured in 8-week sessions. So again, in a semester, we are moving through, really the first half of the semester is one 8-week session. The second half of the semester is another 8-week session. We've got a week of break, time to review in the middle, time to catch up, or time to just take a break if you need it. But my advanced classes are structured around original, authentic content, primarily through literature. So I call my advanced Spanish class, I call it El Club de Libros. It is the book club class, and it is structured around reading. And so it is a great way to give my language students a ton of input in their second language that is challenging but doable. And then we form, in our coaching, we form all of our discussion around real life things. So For example, here are some of our selections from the last semester of my advanced classes. In my Spanish class, we did El Alchemista, which is originally written in Portuguese, and typically I like to choose books that are originally written in Spanish. So I only choose translations if they are really good translations, and I really want to focus on culture. So this book is actually set in Spain and then Egypt, and so there is a cultural element here, and it was originally written in Portuguese, but the translation is very good. This is a very popular book, so I did feel comfortable picking it, and you can see it's not too incredibly long. This gave my students about 20 to 30 pages of reading a week in their second language, which is different than 20 to 30 pages of reading in your first language. What that is a really great practice. What that is a way to get constant input in your second language, which is how we learn. And it's another way. Hola, I can't see who's on with me, but if you're here, feel free to say hi. It's another way to really increase your vocabulary. So like I talked about before, my beginning, intermediate, and intermediate classes are really building a very strong foundation in the most high frequency vocabulary. And we start to add another layer. We start to add more nuance in the intermediate level, and in the advanced level is where we're really opening it up to add much more broad, sophisticated, still useful vocabulary by focusing on contemporary literature. So there is a difference. We're not doing what we would call academic literature. We're not focused on academic language because that is the kind of language, just like academic English. It's the kind of language that is useful if you're a student, if you're studying in university. It's useful in that sense, but it's not what actually gets used in most conversations, even in a professional environment. So I really want to focus always on having the language be something, you're taking classes with me not because you're getting a college degree, but because you want to be able to use these language skills in the real world and have everything be as useful, meaningful, and relevant as possible. So it's not a complete academic route, although we are focused on literature. It's all about making language useful and relevant and personal. Hola, Bess! ¿Cómo estás? How are you? I am going over my advanced classes. So another book that we read last semester, to give you another example, is originally written in Spanish, and this is by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, and he's a Spanish author. So I try to pick authors from all over. There's no limit, but I will say the majority that I have on my list right now are either authors from Spain or authors from Mexico for my Spanish selections. And so this was a little bit larger of a novel. And so this required about 60 pages of reading on average per week for my students. So there is a range for how much input, but again, with lifetime access to the classes, it's not about staying caught up every single week. Obviously that's the goal, but it's okay if you fall behind. We're still going to make everything useful and relevant to your language learning. So this was a really great story. This was kind of mysterious. This is sometimes billed as young adult fiction, but it gets very serious. And this had more of a mysterious element to it, more suspense built in, versus this was a fable and something more of a personal story and about personal development. Maybe you've read The Alchemist in English. So a wide selection. And some of the books I'm looking at for this next semester also. I was going to make the announcement on this video, and I'm not quite ready to. So some of the books I'm looking at for this next semester are Como Agua para Chocolate and La Casa en Mangostre, which this is a translation. It's written by a Chicana authoress, but it was originally written in English. So it was translated by another very wonderful Mexican writer into Spanish, and this one was originally written into Spanish, and so the point was originally written in Spanish. The point of using authentic materials is that we are not just learning the language, we are also learning the culture. We are learning history, we are learning context, we are learning how stories are told in different cultures. So there's so much, and just in case you're thinking, okay, well, I don't really love just talking about books. I don't want to just talk about books. When we give a class, when I give a class in my advanced class, we're talking about the book in regards to what happened. And I'm also pointing out really useful language structures that we come across in our section of the book each week. So each book will be broken down to split between the 8 weeks of each session. So each book is finished in an 8-week time frame. How would you like to have finished 2 complete books in Spanish in the next 5 months? That's incredible, right? So huge accomplishments just there. And each week I'll break down our section, I'll present vocabulary, I'll talk about language structures, talk about what happens, just so we're all clear. But then when we have our live coaching sessions, we're going to take some of the vocabulary, some of the themes that came up in our reading that week, and we're going to apply it to our real lives, to the students in the class, to what's of interest to you, to things, our personal opinions, and everything. So it's not a history class. It's a very contemporary conversational class with books as our input and as our jumping off point. And I absolutely love this because not only do I love books and reading, but I love that I learn new things every time I teach one of these classes. And I love at this level, we are holding all of our conversation in Spanish, although of course I will give an English explanation if it's ever needed, and vice versa for my English classes. But it's a really good chance to practice self-expression in your second language, to practice giving opinions, to practice listening to others, not just me, in your second language, and of course to learn so much directly from the experts themselves, those who represent the culture, who represent the language, who speak it as natives. So this semester, should I pick right now? Okay, this semester right now, I'm between these 2 to start with, and I've got a much larger list for the second half of the semester. For fall 2019, if you have a preference on which one of these books you want to start with, leave me a comment. Let me know. I will have final selection by tomorrow. All right. That said, you can take this class as many times as you want. It's a great place to prepare you for all kinds of real world second language scenarios and skills, and really, really grow your vocabulary and come back to this whenever you want. So this is a class where it's not as detrimental to take a break from. You can always come back to these advanced classes whenever you would like to spend more time improving your second language. And it's a great way to just stay accountable, be challenged to stay with the language. I know prior to teaching these, I would sometimes pick up a Spanish book and be working on it for a year before I finished it. So this is a great way to achieve some really big goals in just the course of one semester. And of course, to have a guide to walk you through and help keep it interesting so that even if it's not your favorite book, the conversation can always be of interest to you. Let me know if you have any questions on this. Excelente. ¿Ves? Acabo de leer tu comentario. Gracias. Sí, estoy muy bien. Gracias. Estoy muy emocionada. Me encanta hablar de mis clases avanzadas. Entonces, ahora en español. So now let me give that explanation in Spanish. Again, if I've forgotten anything, I'll add it on at the end of the video. Para mis estudiantes de inglés que hablan español, estoy hablando de mis clases intermedias avanzadas. Voy a decir solo mis clases avanzadas para ser más sencillo. Y mis clases avanzadas son mis favoritas para enseñar. Son estructuradas similarmente a mis otras clases, como manejo las sesiones de 8 semanas y en un semestre, por ejemplo, el semestre de otoño que empezará la próxima semana, en un semestre tenemos 2 sesiones de 8 semanas. Y en cada sesión de 8 semanas vamos a terminar un libro. Y acabo de darme cuenta de que tengo muchos ejemplos aquí en español, pero no en inglés. A ver. Ok. Para otro tiempo. Tengo muchos libros aquí en mis estantes, pero no estoy segura que quiero representar mis clases correctamente. Entonces, mis clases avanzadas son basadas en la literatura, en los libros, por unas razones. Porque la literatura y leer es la mejor manera para aprender nuevo vocabulario, pero también para aprender la cultura. ¿Cómo es la narración? ¿Cómo son las cuentas? ¿Cómo terminan las cuentas en una cultura? ¿Cómo son las personas, las características que son importantes para esta cultura? ¿Cuál es el diálogo que es normal, que es natural? La historia también. En muchos libros aprendemos mucho de la historia de un país o de un tiempo. Entonces, mis clases avanzadas son para los estudiantes que están listos para empezar a leer en secciones más largas cada semana, porque en cada sesión de 8 semanas terminamos un libro. A veces es un libro más delgado, como solo hay que leer 20 a 30 páginas cada semana. No es mucho, pero es un reto todavía cuando estás leyendo en tu segundo idioma, yo sé. Y a veces los libros son un poco más gruesos, como esto requiere como 60 páginas por semana. No importa si no puedes leer todas las páginas cada semana. En mis clases, en las clases durante la sesión, estoy hablando de la sección del libro que hemos leído esta semana, porque yo divido el libro en 8 secciones para la sesión de 8 semanas y voy a explicar lo que pasa, lo que ocurrió en esta sección y voy a presentar vocabulario nuevo, voy a hablar y explicar unas reglas gramaticales que están destacados en una sección del libro. Pero más que esto, eso es instrucción, pero más que esto voy a hablar de los temas en el libro y durante nuestras sesiones en vivo, nuestras sesiones de language coaching, vamos a tener conversaciones personales. No vamos a analizar todo sobre el libro, aunque si quieres, estoy dispuesta, pero vamos a tener conversaciones personales usando el vocabulario, usando los temas del libro para aplicarlos a nuestras vidas, para ser relevante a nuestras vidas corrientes, actuales y seguir así. Entonces, es una buena manera de practicar, no solo aprendiendo de un representante de la cultura y un autor que habla inglés como lengua materna, pero también es una oportunidad para practicar más la conversación, la expresión personal conmigo, tu maestra, y con otros estudiantes también. Entonces, es más práctica a un nivel muy alto en las clases principiantes e intermedios. Estamos construyendo una fundación muy fuerte en el idioma, en el inglés, y en las clases intermedias estamos construyendo otro nivel a esta fundación, pero en las clases avanzadas estamos abiertos a todo el vocabulario contemporáneo. Entonces es muy importante también que no voy a elegir los libros académicos. No voy a elegir los libros que se trata de un tiempo muy viejo con vocabulario muy viejo. No, porque eso no es el reto. Aunque es bueno saber el lenguaje académico, para el propósito de estas clases es tener las habilidades que necesitas para manejar tu segundo idioma con confianza en cualquier situación en el mundo real ahora. Entonces, solo queremos usar el vocabulario que, tengo una emoji enojada, no sé por qué. Me puede explicar en los comentarios. Pero es muy importante que todo que estás aprendiendo en todas mis clases es relevante a tu vida actual. Hola Janelle, ¿cómo estás? Hi, estoy explicando un poco más de mis clases avanzadas y cómo son estructuradas. Esta palabra es muy difícil para mí. Como un club de libros. Yo llamo a mis clases avanzadas el club de libros o book club class en inglés y en español. Hi Consuelo, ¿cómo estás? How are you? So good to see you. For my English students, para mis estudiantes de inglés, tengo una pregunta para ustedes. Si estás a un nivel listo para empezar las clases avanzadas, ¿en qué tipos de libros están interesados? ¿Qué tipos de libros quieren leer? Casa tomada. Ok, gracias. Y también quiero, para mis estudiantes de español, estoy entre esas dos opciones para la primera mitad de este semestre, solo para la primera mitad. Entonces, si tienes recomendaciones, preferencias, por favor, házmelo saber. Pero siempre estoy abierta a más recomendaciones. Entonces, gracias, Janelle, por la casa tomada. Ok, no sé, voy a buscar. Otras preguntas o comentarios, por favor, dénmelos en los comentarios. Y creo que he explicado todo que querría explicar sobre las clases avanzadas. I think I touched on everything, but of course, it always helps me when you ask questions or let me know that I need to clarify something else. También iba a clarificar para mis estudiantes de inglés, como ya aclaré en inglés para mis estudiantes de español, que cuando yo digo que tengo 2 años de clases originales a cada nivel, esto significa que puedes estar aprendiendo un idioma conmigo a un nivel como principiante intermedio o intermedio avanzado y no tendrás que repetir ni una clase en 2 años, porque todos aprendemos a un rato diferente y eso es normal y eso está bien. No hay presión para aprender más rápido. Entonces, puedes estar a un nivel por lo largo que quieres. Y no vamos a repetir ninguna clase. Vamos a usar el mismo vocabulario porque estamos enfocando en el vocabulario de alta frecuencia que usamos todo el tiempo y vamos a usar estructuras gramaticales muchas veces porque aprendemos el idioma a través de la repetición, pero no tendrás que repetir ni una clase en 2 años. Y estoy segura que si estás estudiando conmigo por 2 años a un nivel, estarás listo de moverte a un nivel más avanzado. Los comentarios. Excelente. ¿Y ves? ¿Qué pensaste? ¿Piensas que es un buen libro para leer para los estudiantes de español que enseña algo de la cultura, de la historia y también de vocabulario, especialmente vocabulario de comida y de todo? ¿Qué piensas? ¿Cuál fue tu opinión de este libro? I love the feedback. Thank you so much. So that was just me adding on a bit for my English students as well about, again, what it means to have original content for 2 years at one level. And it means not having to repeat a class so that you can stay highly engaged. And I am absolutely sure that if you are studying a language with me, and it doesn't matter how fast or slow you go, we are all individuals when it comes to language learning. But if you are studying with me and you're at a level for 2 years, you will be ready to move to the next level comfortably with confidence, even if you feel that you are the slowest learner in the world. I promise I will get you there. That is my job, to get you to the next level of fluency and the next level of fluency after that to wherever it is you want to go with the language and with your confidence. Así que yo veo mi responsabilidad, que es llevarte al próximo nivel y al próximo nivel, al nivel que quieres estar de fluidez en tu segundo idioma. Y estoy segura de que puedo manejar esto si tú estás dispuesto a aprender. Entonces, muchas gracias por participar conmigo, para tus comentarios, por tus comentarios y yo dije para, ¿no? Por participar conmigo, por tus comentarios y déjame otras preguntas, comentarios y un recordatorio que mis clases para el semestre de otoño empezarán la próxima semana y la inscripción está abierta hasta el miércoles, el 14 de agosto. All right, so thanks so much for being on with me, for your participation, for comments, either now or later. And just a final reminder that my fall semester of classes is starting next week and enrollment is open until Wednesday, August 14th. Let me know if you have any other questions or comments, and I hope to be seeing you soon. Nos vemos pronto. Have a wonderful night. Que tengan una fantástica noche el viernes. Adiós.